Okay, Sirshasana, headstand, 2 approaches. Here's the first one. We're gonna do a tripod headstand with the hands on the ground. Doming the palms means pull the center of the palm away from the mat so that we really engage the forearm muscles. Second approach to Sirshasana is with the fingers interlaced. Let me see, I'm gonna turn my mat. All right, to do a tripod headstand, we're gonna do this in stages. Go ahead and place your hands, come to table position, and then walk your hands closer to the knees. We want to be able to bend our arms like we do in crow pose, kakasana, or chaturanga, and have the elbows remain above the wrists. All we're gonna do is bring the crown of the head to the floor, that's it. Now, when you're here, make sure you don't have any clips in your hair or anything. When you're here, you're gonna come onto the hard part on the top of the head so that we're not on the soft spot in the back, the top of the head, right? And you just wanna feel, is this pressure okay for my head and neck right now? Press into the hands, dome the palms, and pull the belly button in toward the spine. If this is okay for you, next step, and this is very telling, tuck the toes and lift the knees. If this is too much, come back down. You might like the other form of Sirshasana better, but you can also build strength. This is also very grounding, crown of the head to the earth. All right. If you're okay here, you're making a triangle, your hands to your head. You want to make sure you can see your fingertips and that your hands are shoulder width apart. You can play with coming up onto tippy toes to get hips more above your shoulders. You can also walk the feet in. And at a certain point, it's going to be easy for you to put your knees on the back of your arms and balance here. Breathe. Pull belly button towards spine. And eventually, you might be able to bring the knees together and rise. If you were to fall, tuck the chin and roll. Take your time with that. Play with that first stage. Just your head on the ground, pressing the floor away, and then lifting the knees. The difference between the knees on the ground and knees off the ground is pretty profound. Make sure you're okay there. There's no shame in putting a blanket beneath your head, a folded blanket, thin folded blanket, not too big and cushy. You want something that's stable so you can balance. Okay, second variation. Interlace all fingers. Now for this one, we want to hold one elbow in each hand first so that you can make sure your arms are about shoulder width apart. Interlace your fingers, put the hard part, the top of the head in the hand or on the floor, and press the floor away from you so that you are not sinking in between the shoulder blades. You're pressing. You could stay here for quite a while. The pinky fingers are touching the rounded part of the back of the head. There's not a death grip in the hands. The hands are soft. Next stage here, and this is a little less pressure, you can lift your knees. You can play with building strength in your lat muscles, your shoulders, your abs. Eventually walk the feet in to get your hips above the shoulders or thereabouts. When you're there, take just one leg up and drop it behind you. Press into the elbows and just play with a little split pose here in the legs. And breathe. This is an excellent place to start. I'm deliberately sort of rocking my legs so you can see how much you can play with balance. To go deeper, pull everything toward midline. The leg you dropped back comes straight. Opposite foot in, feet together, and breathe. Now, when you come out of the pose, take a moment, either in child or extended child or Vajrasana. Feel the effect of the pose. Work up to holding Sirshasana for, as long as your body can tolerate, so that you can clear the mind and bring in a state of meditation. Now, if you're going to do this at the wall, be really careful, because you want to be able to tuck and roll. I didn't feel confident learning Sirshasana at the wall, although many people do, and there are a lot of good ways to approach it and great props. But if you are disciplined about going only one little step at a time, you're going to get this on your own. And you also might have to learn how to tuck and roll a little bit once in a while. You can also do it near a bed. That second variation, I have a dear friend who taught herself this variation by doing it against a bed, so if her foot came down, it hit the bed. Okay? Last time, you could stay here. You could go here. You could play with pressing into the elbows because you are so close to the floor. What you don't want to do is wildly kick your legs up. Try to avoid wildly kicking your legs up, because that's a recipe for losing momentum and falling. Right? That's why I like to teach this in stages. And remember, tripod, triangle, here. Same thing. There's a point where your knees just sort of float up because your hips are high. If you are working hard to get your knees up, your hips are not above your shoulders yet, okay? So give that a go. See how it goes. Sirshasana.